This is update for November 25, 2023, day 640 of the war, end of the date update. So you can see I'm going to start today with, again, with internal Ukrainian politics, or maybe actually not internal, external as well. So there was, I think, a day ago interview of this person who you see now on the picture. His name is David Arhamia. He's another talking head of Ukrainian president. He's sort of close, let's say, ally. And so he gave interview in a local Ukrainian channel where he basically, the messages, he blamed everything for what's going on, what's happening right now West, that he, as the representative of Ukraine, was about to sign peace agreement with Russia, where the condition was that Ukraine to become neutral. So basically, it's not joining NATO. It's unclear about territorial integrity. What would that be? I doubt that Russia was ready to honor Ukrainian territorial integrity. So that probably means that, okay, we have peace in exchange for non-joining NATO, and Ukraine probably accepts losing Crimea and probably part of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. So basically, in this interview, he stated what Russian president was saying before, that there was agreement reached in Istanbul, Turkey, at the end of March, and then that agreement was not honored by Ukrainian side. So basically, he stated that that's what happened. He confirmed the words of the Russian president, and then instead of actually taking personal responsibility, he deflected blame on West, specifically UK, and more specifically Boris Johnson. So basically, Boris Johnson was, from his perspective, was standing with a gun to his head and forced him to continue the war and refuse the alleged peace agreement. So why it's important? It's a very clear sign that Ukrainian political top has no strategic vision, and it's realizing that the way Ukraine is managed is heading towards disaster and collapse. And so they start playing this game. They need to find responsible for what might be happening, and so he starts blaming West, while it's really truly incompetence of Ukrainian political top, and that's just really what it is. It's not Boris Johnson's fault that these people are not able to organize defense of Ukraine and actually preventing people who can from being able to do that. So again, this is there's even more to this, is that this is really creating a wedge between Ukraine and the West, and makes it even makes West less interested in supporting Ukraine and antagonizing one of the best and most sort of loyal Ukrainian ally, which is UK. So that's as I said, that's what Ukrainian political top is doing. In another news, this been going on for a while. Essentially, western Ukrainian border is blocked from a logistical perspective, because there is a conflict with the Polish truckers who don't accept competition from Ukrainian ones, which obviously are cheaper. It's understandable, because this is one of the ways to earn money. Actually to generate value add in Ukraine, and to basically some this is one of the few opportunities that's left, and so that's really creating problems for Polish truckers, and they decided to block Ukrainian western border, which is starting to create problems in Ukraine. Technically, the fuel is still getting through to Ukraine, but it's definitely will affect whatever manufacturing is left, and including potentially defense manufacturing. That's also which is very little left as well. But so as you can see, Ukraine is facing problems on multiple fronts. And again, going back to Ukrainian political leadership, during all this time, they haven't even tried to resolve the problem. They just sit and watch that this problem somehow will resolve on its own, or start like threatening to sue in a international court, which will take years. It's really not a solution. So there's again complete incompetence and inability to solve problems. In another news from Ukraine, Ukrainian president basically making announcements that the mobilization will intensify, which means there will be more people mobilized into army. It's probably gonna extend probably age, maybe even including younger people and so on. So again, this is another sign that there is acute problem developing strategically for Ukraine in terms of human resources and soldiers, and effectively there is desire to replace lack of military equipment with people, which doesn't work, especially giving the extremely poor training or I would say not poor but irrelevant training largely that Ukrainian conscripts are getting, including in the West. It's also largely irrelevant training, and unfortunately people who actually can train from within the army, there's no systematic approach of doing that. Now I'm going to walk through the front line in a clockwise fashion, the way I always do, starting from the north. Situation along the state border remains quiet. Nothing major is happening there. Now let's move to situation on the North Luhansk front line. Things here remain more or less the same. Some fairly weak tactical pressure by Russian forces around Kupiansk, was obviously the goal is Kupiansk without any advances or successes. Now let's move to North Donbass front line. The northern sector is quiet as always. The southern Russian troops actively attacking. Again, everything is at a local tactical level. The goal is to recapture lost ground that they lost a couple months ago. So far, things are more or less, bogged down in a World War I type of situation. No meaningful advances there. Now let's move to the Donbass front line, central Donbass front line. So the situation, first I'll start with the situation around Avdiyivka. The strategic situation is negative for Ukraine for a very simple reason. The way this peninsula is, you cannot hold on to it for too long. And Russian forces are doing baby bites, but they do them, and eventually it will be lost by Ukrainian side. The only solution is counterattack here, but that again faces its own challenge because Ukrainian army is not capable of organize proper counterattacks or attacks, or basically like offensive actions. And so that's makes me sort of make the conclusion, unfortunate conclusion, that As long as things persist the way they are, eventually Ukrainian forces will lose Avdiyivka. In terms of losses, yes, that's correct that Russian forces endure high losses. Ukraine losses also pretty high, but again, this goes back to the strategic war of attrition, where Ukraine simply cannot sustain losses that are similar to Russian forces, or even slightly less, or even half of the Russian forces. It's still not sustainable from Ukrainian side. Uh, let's just quickly look at this situation here. So this is how it around the start in early October or mid-October. Then Russian forces early November advanced across the railroad, and then they another sort of success is crossing railroad here. Then they made advances made a dance in Ukrainian defenses in this area. There are reports. I don't have confirmation that Russian forces basically cleaned out this tiny peninsula. So effectively, this looks like a much bigger dent in Ukrainian defenses. So again, this is looking like baby bites, but they do happen. And again, without counterattack, obviously tactical local counterattack, Ukrainian forces will not be able to hold on to Avdiyivka in the long run. And how long? There's no way to predict that. And then another piece is Marinka is the same situation. Russian attacks without much success there. Now let's move to the situation on the Zaporizhya front line. Things here are sort of in Russian hands, where Russian troops are attacking in small sizes. It's totally very low scale attacks with the same idea to recapture lost ground, and that's essentially it, without any success. Now let's look at the situation along Dnipro River. Russian troops made a major attempt to destroy Ukrainian bridgehead near Krinky, but so far it failed. Obviously, they did not give up, so we'll see what happens. But its unfortunate reality is that if Ukrainian forces are not quickly expanding and exploiting this bridgehead as a springboard, then eventually Russian command will bring enough resources to potentially eliminate this bridgehead. So I'm not saying that this bridgehead is in danger, but I would say it's a big lost opportunity for Ukrainian side. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.